So we are just sitting in a nice, comfortable seated posture, and your feet flat on the floor are about a hip's width apart, knees about a hip's width apart, and really feel the sensation of your feet, on the ground, the weight of your feet on the ground. Feel the weight of your sits bones in your chair, and the palms in your lap, shoulders are aligned with your hips. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretches from the base and just goes all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond, just lengthening your spine. And then when you're at the crown of the head, just relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, back of the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, the back of the tongue, the jaw, the ears and the inner ear. And you can imagine somebody has a beautiful, nice, warm light, and they're shining that into your ear. Relax the back of the head, the neck, and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down, and relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And be aware of the sensations of the breath, the inhalation and exhalation, the nose, around the nose, around the chest, the thoracic area, and the belly. Be aware of any sensory information coming into you from your environment, coming into your conscious mind through your environment, from your environment. So sound, warmth, maybe cold, smells. So just allow all of that to be there. Of course, unless you're too uncomfortable. Anything that's outside your environment, outside your home, your house, or anything under your roof. And then just check in with yourself. How are you doing this evening, this morning, today, for you Aussies? Putting some space in between your thoughts, and just see if you've got any movies going on in your head this evening, any stories. And just allow the thoughts to arise and abide, and then they'll just dissipate. And then bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, very dear, precious friends, our strangers. And then there's those people in our life we don't like terribly much. And recognizing, due to impermanence, our relationships can shift and change, and they can even change places with that stranger, with that one we don't like, with that loved one. And just regardless, all of these people are equal, just like the same as you and me. They all want to be happy. They all don't want to suffer. They want to be free of that. And, we've all got this extraordinary capacity, this unlimited capacity for this enlightened mind. So we think we'd do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind. So equally, we can change that and create positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so, having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. And the first little section here is refuge. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, Vajrasattva, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we need Buddha to forgive us necessarily. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And you're made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, and this represents wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of someone maybe you've harmed recently. So when we're thinking about developing compassion, we're developing a wish for people to be, sentient beings to be free from suffering. That's a really good place to start. Well, we started already with this equanimity meditation at the beginning, and then we have a wish for them all to be free from suffering. So think about someone maybe you've harmed and wish for them to be free from suffering. And then think about someone who's harmed you. Because of the harm they've caused you, they're going to suffer in the future. So particularly, make strong prayers for these people to be free from suffering. Often we have this idea we want them to suffer more, but they're going to. So you can just take a step back and let karma deal with it, and really wish for them to be free from suffering. So then think we'll do this practice for all these people, for the sake of all these beings. I'll purify for their sake. So then we come to the power of remedy, and this is the medicine doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely, and it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown, and it fills your entire body. And this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about other people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabala Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Am Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kamasita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. And next is the purification of our mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So you imagine you've walked into a room, it's pitch black, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels the darkness. So you imagine the same happens here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachments and neediness, bitterness, grudges, anger, disappointments, anxiety, depression, all of this instantly purified as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Drita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our unsuffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And just think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And now is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. So we're talking at a much more subtle level here. So you imagine that Vajrasattva, sending the nectar and the light again, and the nectar pouring down, pushing out the negativities of the body, the nectar flowing up, kind of down and then up again, pushing out all the negativities of the speech. And then, of course, the light coming and dispelling all the darkness of the mind. So you imagine that's all happening simultaneously. I don't even know how to speak anymore. Anyway, that's all happening at the same time. And it eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Trita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Ah Hum Pe, Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasattva Dina Patita, Jida Meboa, Situkaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tatagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So now feel you're completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's a really crucial one. Because here, coming back off this idea of regret from the first part, regret. Regret implies that you'd like to do something about it eventually. So here we have an opportunity, resolve, power of resolve. I want to do things a little differently. And so we have to decide. That's the main point. We need to make a decision that we don't want to harm. And that can be the basic thought. I don't want to harm. Everything moves from there. So it becomes like a beacon that guides our body and our speech and our mind in new directions. So rejoice in your efforts for coming along. You know, for Shrey, it's like 6 a.m. For a number of you guys, it's late. It's late here, and I'm on the Pacific coast. So just rejoice in your efforts, particularly for those of you who it's 11:30 at night. It's fantastic. And then think of something you'd like to work on between now and tomorrow. Some little thing. No big deal, but just even bring your awareness to some habit you might have. And then imagine Vajrasattva's delighted with us, wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light, and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So in emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So whatever level your mind, you understand emptiness, you can place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So let's just do our chanting the names of Manjushri. Assembly head, instructor for assemblies, assembly lord, assembly chief, the ruler, most influential, bearing precious burdens, not other bound, his way, the greatest way. The lord of speech, the master of expression, most skilled in words, adept with language, truthful with boundless words, the teacher of the truth, providing teachings on the fourfold truth. Not coming back, not turning round rhino, the leader of the Pratikya Buddhas, gone forth by going forth in different ways, the single cause of all great elements. Okay, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for the long life and good health of Lama Ursel, and then for all of your own individual precious teachers, may they live long. All right.